Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed heads of state, distinguished CEOs, and fellow guardians of our planet. My name is Rodrigo, and I'm the founder of One Amazon. I stand before you today as a citizen of Earth, deeply concerned yet hopeful about the future of our planet's most precious gem, the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon is not just a forest, it's the heart of our planet, pulsating life and balance into our world. This vast green expanse is our world's most significant natural asset, a colossal reservoir of biodiversity and critical regulator of the global climate. It's a treasure that we, as a global community, cannot afford to overlook. But here lies our challenge, the current economic paradigm. In this model, the Amazon is seen as more valuable for its timber or cleared land than for its ecological wealth. This is not just unsustainable, it's a path towards ecological bankruptcy. At One Amazon, we believe it's time for a paradigm shift. We are harnessing the power of the market, the same force that has driven exploitation, to transform it into a tool for conservation. We aim to prove that the Amazon is more valuable alive than dead. Our mission is not just preservation, but prosperity. A prosperity that encompasses the health of our planet and the well-being of its inhabitants. To achieve this, we've assembled a world-class team. We are not just environmentalists. We are innovators, economists, technologists, and community leaders. Together, we are developing a groundbreaking security digital asset, a token that represents the intrinsic value of the world's largest rainforest biome. This isn't just a financial instrument, it's a statement, a commitment to the belief that the Amazon is valuable and ought to be prized. I call upon each of you, leaders, influencers, decision makers, to join us in this vital mission. The Amazon is not a distant, isolated forest. It's a planetary asset, an asset that requires global attention and investments. We have the opportunity to rewrite our story, to turn legacy of exploitation into a future of restoration and balance. I would like to invite to the podium our chairman, Peter Kness, former chief investment officer of BlackRock.
Thank you, Rodrigo, and thanks to all of you for attending. As Rodrigo alluded to, the Amazon, in our view, is the world's climate change regulator. But despite that, a tree in the Amazon is worth $1. So farmers get paid $1 for cutting that tree down. So if you think about that just for a second, that's like somebody paying you $1 for your lungs. So the question is, why is this? So why is this a sort of failure of financial economics? So if you look at the challenge of the rainforest, it's, first of all, it's the rainforest externality. At the end of the day, the global contribution is uncaptured by the owners. That is the governments and the native tribes. So unless we can figure out how they can capture that value, we can't save the rainforest, in our view. Secondly, why does this externality exist? Well, number one is the rainforest hectares are inaccessible and illiquid. So it's very hard to acquire a hectare of the rainforest. Second, the rainforest biome and biodiversity are unmeasured, unquantified, and unrecorded. So you have to datafy it. And then lastly, the rainforest owners are governments and tribes, which in and of themselves can't solve this problem. So what One Amazon approach was, number one, let's start by building a partner platform that is a combination of the governments and the native tribes and the local population, but ACOM, MIT Media Labs, Impact One, all combined together, and in addition, Goldman Sachs, all combined together to try to solve this problem as one team. So as Rodrigo alluded to, our first step was to create a digital asset, because if we can represent a hectare in the rainforest with a token, with a digital asset, then we can deliver accessibility and liquidity. So what we've done is we've created a digital asset that's backed by 30-year leases from the land in the rainforest. So we've sort of delivered on accessibility. Now we wanted to have an immutable, transparent record, and so we put that digital asset on a blockchain. Number three, we want to solve the datafication problem. So in our partnership with MIT Media Labs, we've built a large-scale sensor network with machine intelligence. This will enable us to real-time measure and monitor the forest biome and biodiversity. The value of this is in our view, is trillions of dollars. Lastly, we've solved the datafication problem, the accessibility problem, the recording problem, but we haven't solved the last thing, and that is the profitability problem. So how do people that invest in those tokens actually make money, right? And so we launched the One Amazon Impact Fund, which is a very early stage, essentially a VC fund, investing in projects exclusively in the rainforest for preservation and reforestation. And it's seeded by the sales from the digital asset, the tokens. So together, we've then pulled together a platform that we believe addresses this negative externality and now values the rainforest at trillions of dollars instead of $1 a tree. So thank you. With that, I'll introduce Michele. Nikolai.
Yes, sorry, my name is complicated because I'm from Poland. Mikołaj Sekutowicz. I am the founder and CEO of Impact One. Impact One is focusing on exactly this alliance with One Amazon and the main question, what is the worth of nature? For us, there's only two ways going forward. Either we are able to put nature-based assets and the services generated by nature on our global GDP, on our balance sheet, our global balance sheet, or any other investment won't really matter. It will be similar to our experience at COVID, when everything needs to close down, all the investments are in question. Now, you can see here a very impressive chart. You can see the global anthropogenic mass produced until 2020 and the global biomass. You can see that in 2020, this global anthropogenic mass produced by a species that only accounts for a fraction of the global biomass exceeded the biomass. Now, the problem is that the biomass produced our atmospheric conditions in the very first place. So this is actually, and you can see 85% of it is plant-based, so it's photosynthesis organisms that are constantly, that have produced and are constantly producing our atmospheric system. So what we call today co-benefits of carbon sequestration are actually the main benefits of ecosystem services and nature-based assets. This is a value it's almost not able to be captured, but we can capture it. We can say today that, this is according to OECD or World Bank, the value of nature-based services per annum exceeds the global GDP by the factor of 1.5. That means that we have a 100 trillion economy globally that is matched by 150 trillion of nature-based services per annum that are not accounted for, that nobody is paying for. So it's like we would basically live like in houses without paying the rent. We would squatting basically, or we would receive services that we are not paying for. Now we know all what it means. It means that if we are not paying for something, it doesn't have a value. And unfortunately, our economic systems from the very beginning were designed in a way that only human production got a specific value assigned. So only when I cut down the tree and then transform it with human labor into a table, then the table has now a higher value than the tree, although the tree is obviously a much more complex machine. It's a machine that we couldn't reverse engineer, that we understand today is based on a quantum level. Photosynthesis is extremely complicated, and we need to evaluate it. And when we look, again, this is the Amazonian rainforest in Brazil. This was actually a GIF, so it was moving. You cannot see this movement anymore, but I can tell you that the only parts of this forest that are not under deforestation are the ones that are guarded by indigenous communities. So today we can say 80% of the planet's remaining biodiversity is guarded by indigenous communities. So somehow the indigenous communities are responsible for the management of assets with a higher value than the biggest asset managers, among them BlackRock, for example. So this is just one example, because I want to come to the specific solutions, how we actually were able to test a little bit the market. So this is a blockchain-based digital asset that we launched with Rafik Anadol and the Yawanawa community this year. 1,000 pieces, $2,500 US, and within only 3 months, it was a factor 7. So today you can buy a piece only for 20,000, not under. And the reason is that the consumers and investors are today investing based on purpose. So purpose is the most driving force of the end consumer, with a 44% participation in the other consumer segment. This is what consumers want. So we need to deliver to consumers the information that is necessary for them to do the right decision that they want to do. And this is exactly what we are doing. Yeah? We are generating the information, and we are creating the products and services that consumers can buy in. And this is how I will close my short speech, and thank you very much.
I have to say, the most eloquently and most simply put way of how we're destroying the Amazon is that we're squatting and not paying the rent, right? So I think if we put that as a tagline in a newspaper, most people understand. All right, fantastic. So the next person I'm going to invite, I had a long spiel because I've known her for such a long time. She's a dear friend, but today she is in the capacity of a very, very hard task to do. Her Excellency, Ms. Leila Mustafa Abdel Latif, the Director General of Emirates Nature in association with WWF. And please, Rodrigo, join us onto the stage as well with Leila.
We are faced with the urgency of time. As global citizens, we need to ask ourselves, what's next? How do we continue this movement to preserve biomes across the globe? From the Amazon to the desert and its coastal waters of the UAE.
You might be asking yourselves why, from a place that is known for its rich biodiversity, the Amazonian forest, to the harsh and arid lands of this part of the world. Well, I have to tell you that life is abundant even in unexpected places. Across the sand dunes of the Arabian Peninsula to the coastal lagoons and islands that dot the UAE shoreline, acting as carbon sinks, providing refuge for biodiversity that is adapted to the harsher conditions in this place we call home. Although we have drawn lines separating ourselves geographically, we still have the same lifeline, interconnected in our need for nature. And we are all so similar, and at the crux of it all is humanity. All of these natural places deserve a fighting chance to build resilience against climate change and to be valued by our modern societies and economies. And in the UAE, our harsh landscape has meant that we lead by innovation, and it's about everything being about the impossible and essentially working with a unique lab to test those extremes. This needs to be rooted in science-based research, embedded in our DNA as a conservation NGO, building sustainable, resilient communities and driving local economic prosperity aligned with solutions derived from nature.
We need to follow a systematic approach, working collaboratively, sharing lessons, technologies, and knowledge. As I stated before, what's next? Every single biome is worth saving. And we are humbled to join hands today, weaving together our shared humanity towards one planet as we collaborate to kick off this new chapter.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leila. I'm honored and humbled.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.